Crackle, crackle. Can you hear me? Snap, crackle, pop. Hello, hello, welcome. Thank you so much for coming into the room here. We are live. I am doing a sound check. Hey, hello, Andrea. Thank you so much for coming in the room. Awesome. I am so grateful that you can hear me and you can hear me very well. We're going to go ahead and get started. I have my water tank near me. I say my tank because it is 40 ounces. Oh, I didn't even notice we got the black on black on black today. Okay. All right. I love it. I didn't even try to do that, but I love it. I love the aesthetics. Tonight, we are talking about ways to start building your resilience to stress and adversity, to have your own emotional toolkit ready on tonight. If you are someone who you deal with stress, it is stress management, stress awareness month, and you are looking for a tad bit more help, or you're looking to refresh your mind about what are some healthy ways that you can cope with the stress or lower the stress in your life, whether it's personally in your own personal life, whether it's on your job. We're going to talk about some tools on tonight to get you started in that right direction as a beginner in this, because there are multiple levels to things. So if you are new here, hello, my name is Dr. Kim. Welcome to another episode of Embracing Brilliance. I am your host, Dr. Kim of Align with Dr. Kim, where we heal from burnout, create balance so we can embrace and express our own brilliance and well-being. So if you are living weekend to weekend, it is time for you to embrace your brilliance. It's time to stop living for the weekend, looking for the next thing. You are in it now. Your time is now. So, we're talking about building resilience to stress for beginners on tonight. So, I have my notes over here. So, if you see me shifting and looking over to the side, it's because I really want to get this information to you. So, how can we start to understand what emotional intelligence is? I will tell you firsthand, I thought emotional intelligence was about being able to empathize with other people, being able to understand yourself. And y'all let me know in the comments if this is what you thought as well, or some other things that you understood, because they start telling you about emotions, throughout school. Like a lot of kindergartners are getting empathy training, and it's on up until the workplace and everything, right? When I would say even with teenagers, with job skills, they're teaching emotional intelligence, which is a wonderful thing. A lot of people say, well, I work with my mind, I handle things with strategy. That's how I deal with things. Why I got to learn what emotional intelligence is? Well, it helps you to navigate the emotional landscape of a situation. It can help you de escalate, it can help you. Well, de escalate quickly. I need to finish that thought. And it can also help you to just move away from certain types of stress, and you're able to handle your own emotions. It's not just handling other people's emotions around you and being aware of them, but also being aware of your own. A lot of times we just go through so many deep levels of stress because we didn't know that we could pivot from those points. We didn't understand what a pivot was, or even how to do those things. We can avert a crisis just by managing our own, well, regulating and managing our own emotions in a thing. Sometimes it's not the thing that goes on, but it's your perspective of a thing, and it's how you respond to a thing. That's why we look for clarity with things. That's why we seek information. That's why we pause when we're at an emotional high before we make any rational or irrational decisions, I should say. So that way, everyone is everyone feels respected, even you. We can do things in a respectful way that will allow growth, that will allow opportunities to seek change and to establish change in an environment, all because we know how not just to read a room, but we know how to read the emotions in the room as well. So, being able to read your own emotions is, yes, a powerful thing. This is more than just, being able to cut off your tears, or being able to uh, of, pay attention to your tone of voice and how you're speaking, or listen, be not personalize somebody else's tone of voice and speaking. And that's a part of it. It's the whole thing that we're looking at. So emotional intelligence is the ability to recognize, understand, and manage your own emotions, as well as to perceive and influence the emotions of others. And tonight I'll be talking about that from the aspect of high achieving introverted women who are in stressful positions, who are in management positions, and you deal with a lot of internal things as well as a lot of external things, but more likely it gets to be really tough when you hadn't been able to sort out and process how you're feeling and how you're going through those things. So we're going to talk about that toolkit a little bit, some ways that we can practice those things and you can start to build those skills. So let's talk about some of the myths again around emotional intelligence. Some of the myths that exist with emotional intelligence. Oh, well, emotional people who are emotionally intelligent are emotional all the time. They're passionate, they're very loud, all of these type of things. They're always expressing their emotions and they handle the emotions of others very well. That's not necessarily true all of the time. It's not about being emotional, whereas it is about understanding. A person that's able to observe the room and not participate as well, and they're able to hold their composure, especially when there's been a moment of disrespect, or if there's been a moment of, I'll just say, unpleasantness in the room. If a person is able to observe the room, they're able to manage their own emotions, they're able to walk away, or they're able to not be overly emotional. That's the truth of an intelligent person. A lot of times, well, I won't say a lot of times, I've noticed sometimes people will purposely come into a room and will purposely throw it off just to see how much power they have over other people. And you know exactly what I'm talking about. Hello, hello. Hey, how y'all doing? I see y'all in the comment section here. Thank you so much for coming in the room. And if you're watching the replay, shout out to you. Thank you so much for listening to this. A lot of people tell me they go back, they listen, they take notes. You're listening to things while doing other chores. Shout out to you if you are an active listener here at Embracing Brilliance, because you know that your time is now for change with this. So the myth we just got through talking about is that emotionally intelligent people are always emotional, and that's a myth. They understand the room and they know how to manage their emotions as well too. And I also mentioned about how some people will purposely come in the room and just try to throw off the temperature in the room just to see what they can get away with. Those type of people, they are everywhere. People that either they have their own insecurities, people who have inferiority complexes, people who have just I will call it a sandpaper personality because they're a little rough, they're a little scratchy. Some people got spikes. But either way, it's a different personality. It's a contrasting personality in the room. And being able to be emotionally intelligent, you're able to control your own emotions. You're able to watch that person and not give them any response. So that way you can stay focused and motivated on the purpose that you were there for. And I think that's one of the key things about being an emotionally intelligent person, which that's another myth about it as well, is that everybody's born with it. You either have it or you don't. No, you can learn emotional intelligence. And we're going to talk about some more ways tonight on how to grow in those areas as well. We definitely want to grow in it. Thank y'all also for sharing this out. If you're watching me on YouTube, I forgot to mention, I do have a channel on YouTube. Subscribe to that channel if you want more content like this. That way we can talk. Y'all, Facebook is starting to delete the video, so there will no longer be like a pile of everything. I should say it like that. What I am trying to say is you won't be able to go back and watch my videos on Facebook, but you can come over to YouTube land and join the community there. That way you can get the notifications, and you can also leave comments, questions, things like that in case you weren't able to attend the live, because I do read your comments and answer your questions over there as well. And thank you if you are watching me on YouTube. I appreciate that. That is a platform that we are all maneuvering over to. Now, back to your abilities as far as emotional quotient or EQ, being an emotionally intelligent person. You know, they talk a lot about being intelligent, the intelligence quotient, the IQ ability, your cognitive abilities, how much you know, the knowledge, how much you can share, how much you understand, and your cognitive abilities. We're talking tonight about your emotional abilities, which will help you push through those levels of stress and adversity, because you will know how to handle your own emotions, and you're able to stay focused on the purpose and the thing that you were placed here to do on this earth, or whatever assignment that you have been placed in. A lot of times there are things, unnecessary things, that do not need our attention. But when we manage to keep the main thing, and some of you all have even heard that before, you stay focused, you stay, you keep your eyes set on the thing that you were there to do, and you let everything else fall away. I am reminded of the story of Nehemiah. If you have not read that, if you're not a Bible fan, it's still great information. These are historical events. But the story of Nehemiah was when he was purposed to go and rebuild a wall. And this is something that he wanted to do. He was prepared to go forward with it. Nehemiah faced so much adversity with what he was doing. And I believe God gave him the ability to know when something just did not matter. That is an amazing place to be in. Some people say, oh, that's maturity. Yes, you have to grow to those things, because we've all been in places before where we were thrown off and distracted by things. But either way, there were contrasting personalities, like I said before, that came towards him to throw him off his purpose and to get him to come off of the wall. Like, hey, what are you doing up there? Why are you doing this? Chit, 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 all this chit chat and all those type of things to get him to stop what he was doing. And those adversity comes towards us as well in life. Why? Whether this be at work, whether this be at home, whether this be family, whether it be something personal, to throw you off of the thing that you set forth to do. And yes, some of those instances are about testing you, but it's also to help you to maneuver in your own emotions as well. Thank you. Andrea said YouTube land, join the community. Yes, 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 yes. And yeah, we are talking about those myths about being emotionally intelligent. The third one that I wanted to mention, no, I said it. Well, no, here it is. Emotional, intelligent people never struggle with their emotions. Anytime you hear somebody say never, it is questionable. So let's just throw that out the window as well. Emotionally intelligent people are human. Your human expression involves emotions. And yeah, sometimes people crash out. And I talked about crash out last week on the YouTube channel about not crashing out and being able to lean into those things and what they truly mean to gain wisdom from it. But yeah, emotionally intelligent people have crash out moments. I was this close today with having one of my own little crash out moments. And you give yourself the space to do those things. You don't have to blow up and blow all out in front of people. We sort of look at people like that as, oh, they're able to hold their composure. It's like we have been in practice on, what is appropriate at the moment. Is this something that's going to help me? And those type of questions get answered by you. Those type of questions get asked by you in the moment of the pause. We're able to pause. So let's go into it. I'm just checking in with you all in the audience to see if you had any questions or anything like that. But yeah, we talked about the myths with it, but yeah, let's talk about the parts of it. So there are 5 parts to being emotionally intelligent, and we're going to talk about the way we utilize these parts as well when we're faced with stress and adversity, how to build those things. 5 components of being an emotionally intelligent person. There's self-awareness, there's self-regulation, there's motivation, there's empathy, and then your social skills. Those are the 5 components of being an emotionally intelligent person. That's how it's measured as well. And these are the things that we practice. And my question for you on tonight is, because I got to have some type of accountability in the comments as well, just because the coach in me just cannot sit on the sidelines or let you sit on the sidelines in embracing brilliance. If you don't have a moment to chat or put it in the comments, you can at least ponder this question within yourself. But which one of those areas do you need to work on? Which one of those components? So self-awareness is about knowing your own emotions and how they affect your thoughts and actions. A lot of times we do not understand what we are feeling. We don't pick up on different cues from our bodies. This is why I really appreciate mind body awareness. I appreciate mindful meditations in all forms, because you're able to step into a place of awareness. And that's also where that pause comes in. If you're going 1,000 miles a minute, you're gonna miss your cues. If you're going at the speed of light, you're gonna miss something. Why? Because you are human. You're gonna fall back into default mode. And what do I mean by default mode? Whatever emotion set point you're normally at throughout the day, that's where you're going to stay unless you pause and challenge that. Becoming aware of where you are, becoming aware of how you feel, even if you have to use ding, 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 the emotional wheel, the wheel of emotions. You can Google it. It's a wonderful tool. Sometimes our emotions are stacked. We are feeling several emotions all at the same time. Why is that? Because we are complex beings. And we have this lovely opportunity while we are here on earth to experience and um, feel our emotions and get the meaning from them. Our emotions are indicators, they are not dictators. That's one of the main things I can share with you to help you in that pause point. Emotions are indicators, they are not dictators. They indicate, they have a meaning. It's up for us to look at that meaning and choose the next course of action with that. And yeah, that's a simplistic breakdown about it. Some of these things happen in a matter of microseconds. Some of these things happen, that process that I just explained happens over days and weeks for people to make a decision or to process and understand what has happened to them or what they experienced leading up until the action that they want to take. So that's self-awareness. What does that look like when you're coping with stress? When you're able to recognize that you're stressed, you understand your triggers and your cues. We've talked about that before. You're able to take the next steps to calm down. You're able to de-escalate a situation. You're able to take a break, take a pause, take a 15 and revisit something. A lot of people do that in meetings, family meetings, work meetings. If you're having a one-on-one and there's no mediator involved, you have to become aware of the tension in the room and be honest enough with yourself to say, this is what this is, and to call it out. Yes, there's a level of being a communication expert involved in this as well. So self-awareness helps you. It's one of the things in your toolbox when you're facing adversity, because you give yourself place to say what's going on with you, and you're able to take the next action to make yourself better, or at least put it on pause until you're able to pick it back up. The second component is self-regulation. Self-regulation is being able to manage your own emotions so they don't control you. I just talked about that emotional set point and being on default. If we wake up in the morning and it's like you just drank a cup of nails, we kind of refer to that as, man, I or either this person, some other person woke up on the wrong side of the bed. You just need to start over. You can actually start over and refresh your day. Did you know that? Yes, you can. If you notice that your emotions are in a place where you don't want them to be, you can take a moment to pause, practice a mindful breath, and basically start over. You can restart that moment. No, I'm not saying travel back in time, but once you get to a place of calm, and I talk about breathing here because it's one of the things that will help calm your system down. It'll trigger your vagus nerve, which is connected from your brain to your gut. It's gonna open things up for you. It's going to alert you that, hey, I am not in a place of stress. So that way, getting up in the morning, being cranky and grumpy doesn't turn into screaming at somebody, at 2 o'clock, or feeling like you're unheard and nobody cares about you at 10 o'clock in the morning. Because if we let these things keep going, especially if you're an introverted person and you're in your head and you're overthinking quite a bit, if you have one of your personalities, I'm sorry, one of your personal tendencies, a personality trait that you have is being introverted and quiet, and meaning that you're basically in your mind. Not that you're a quiet shy person, but you're in your mind, you're reserved. Being able to calm your thoughts through the practice of breathing will really be something to help you calm down and keep the stress at bay. Um, a lot of times too, that emotional set point that we have, this is where the impulsive decisions start to come from, because it can turn into that as well. It doesn't have to be like one source of anger going along, like a trail of anger, like frustrated here, anger here, outburst here. It doesn't have to go like that. You can start to recognize, what your emotional wave looks like throughout the day. So that way you can tend to your emotional landscape and be able to self-regulate. Being able to stop yourself in the middle of impulsion, so that way you can resolve things and you can respond in a calm way. That's the second one with self-regulation. Motivation. What does motivation look like? Well, motivation is when you are staying driven with your goals, no matter what comes up. That's what motivation is. And I know there is a lot of talk about, especially with Mel Robbins. She's somebody that believes, she's the one who did the 5 second rule where you say 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, launch. And she has had quite a success with sharing it with the world. She does not believe in motivation. She's like, motivation stinks. If you sit around waiting for it, you'll never get anything done. I want to submit to you that in some instances, yes, I believe that that's true, because to act in a thing is, then that's when you will feel it. Like, if you're afraid of something, the action is usually what you need to do to cure the fear, to get to the other side of the thing that you're supposed to have. You need to take a step of action. And that's one of those conundrums in life, but it is definitely true, and you will find it in each and every situation. So when you are there's internal motivation, external motivation. Because yes, you can be externally motivated. You're standing in the street, a bus is coming at you hard, yeah, you're gonna move out the way. That bus was something on the outside of you. You saw you were about to get hit and you moved. Same thing can happen emotionally. You meet somebody, they're around you, they're talking negative outbursts or just negative comments 80% of the time, you notice that you feel bad. You don't want to be a human uh receptacle for all of the things that are spewing out of their mouth. And you try to be positive and uplifting, and you start noticing this person throwing bricks at me. What am I gonna do? I'm gonna step out the way. So we leave the negativity behind. Those type of things. Being able to be motivated in, hey, I'm motivated by my purpose. I'm motivated by my values. In that last example, you are a person that values positivity in your surroundings, and you know that that will feed you, and just for the simple purpose of you may not like it. You feel better when there are people that are uplifting around you. You're able to do what you need to do. So, and this is just, I'm giving examples here on this, but motivation can also be about being motivated to meet your goals as well. And you're internally motivated, like I said, by your purpose, by your goals, by your values. You're motivated to do this because it's something that you want to be in life. And in order for you to do that, you got to walk those things out. So, how does that help me cope with stress? You can use your motivation to cope with stress, because instead of looking at the problems, you will start to become curious about the solutions to get to that thing. I hope this is making sense. Hello, Thomas. Hello. Thank you all so much for coming in. All right, we got some mental health people in the room. I appreciate it. I really do. We need to have y'all on here talking as well. I appreciate that. I do. Now, empathy is another one. Oh, this is a big one. I don't know if y'all remember the little kindergarten lesson, but I remember about empathy. It's like, imagine what it's like to be in someone else's shoes. And I didn't realize everyone could not understand it, but there are some people literally are like, what are you talking about? I don't know what that means. And it does not mean that they don't have the ability to do that. Now, yes, there are some people that don't have the capacity to be empathetic, which is why we have empathy training at work. We have empathy training. In some places, it's highly needed, especially in help and healthcare professions. They have to do those type of trainings because everyone doesn't automatically have it. But what did I say at first? Just because you didn't have it, growing up, you can build upon it. That's why we have trainings in these things as well. So when you're able to understand and share the feelings of others, being able to see things from other people's perspective, that does take practice. Being able to understand and see stuff in a different point of view, and it's humbling. It really is humbling. One of the most recent things that I had to understand um was about, well, I don't know if I should tell y'all this. I don't know if I should tell y'all this, but I will say I had to understand how to forgive a person. This was something that God helped me with. I had to see what life was like in their shoes. It was it wasn't a tool that I was given by somebody else. I will say this was something that just came to me as far as revelation. I was able to forgive someone because I was able to empathize with them. And this is where I will say a mature person understands that. No, I will say this. I've heard Dr. Umar say this. Like, let me quote this correctly. Dr. Umar said, we we don't become angry with stupid people because we know they lack the understanding. We don't become angry with them. We don't waste, our passion on it because we understand that they are lacking in something. And I thought that was very matter of fact. And I was like, that is straightforward and direct. He's right. I agree with it. Now, I'm not walking around here calling everybody stupid or anything, okay? I will say that I've been able to lower my emotions about a thing. I've been able to sort of calm myself and stay grounded in my emotional set point. Yeah, when I say emotional set point, I am saying just like the how you have the thermostat set in your house, the temperature, the thermometer, is going to read the temperature that's in the room. That's how the central heating and air conditioning unit works. It gets triggered to come on if the temperature goes up or down. Well, instead of letting life come through and set your thermostat and flip it and stuff like that, I know y'all have been in places where people's like they even put signs up there, do not touch. That's what I mean by emotional set point. Is you taking authority over that little lever and saying, this is how I want to feel. This is how I want to be. And in those certain situations, when you become empathetic, you're able to understand the room in a way, you're able to keep your emotions at a certain level, and you can build stronger relationships with people as well. So you can have stronger relationships with yourself when you are empathetic to what's going on around you and you're empathetic towards yourself. Always remember to be empathetic towards yourself, because if you don't and you leave yourself behind, it starts like a self-abandonment thing, which is a entire another talk that I could do. But having that empathy with other people, you're able to connect with them, you're able to offer them support in tough times, and also you're able to receive support in those tough times also. Now, social skills is the last one, and that's when you're communicating and connecting to other people effectively. We know that some communication is not always effective. Not all communication is effective. Andrea said you can grow in these areas like you grow muscle in the gym. I completely agree with that. That is absolutely right. Yes, emotional set points. I talked about that. Andrea also said, yes, be compassionate and empathetic with yourself is a great tool. Please practice empathy with yourself. And that's like a step beyond the self-awareness. You're gonna start practicing the compassion with yourself as well. Because that's the relationship you have with yourself is also one of the greatest ways you can calm. Well, it can be a source of calm, or it might be something that you need to start to calm, practice more calm in. Is the relationship that you have with yourself, how you respond to yourself, how you regulate your own emotions. But even with being able to connect with other people, having those quality people to connect with, you are most like the 5 immediate people that you hang around. Whether that's somebody that you're listening to online, because I know some of y'all saying, I don't have 5 people that I'm around. Or you're like, oh wait, these 5 people that are around me, I do need to change this. But yeah, making sure that you have great quality people around you will help you resolve conflicts, and you're able to build a better support network or add to that network just through the way you communicate. Being able to not have people in your space that cause you problems will keep you alive longer. Not having people in your space that cause you problems will cause you to live longer. That's a longevity tip, by the way. But yeah, having those social skills will help you to cope with stress. Sometimes, even if you're an introverted person, we crave connection with other people, positive connection with other people, I should say. A healthy individual does. And it's so that can lower your stress. Going out and doing things for other people, being a servant, will lower your cortisol levels. Placing your mind and your thoughts on other things, on higher things than what you're going through, will cause your stress levels to lower. No, it's like a healthy detachment from it. It's not you avoiding it, but it's you redirecting your attention on things until you're able to kind of build back up more of a positive fortress for yourself, and you're able to attract in a lot of times the solutions for those problems and things that you're going through people are a resource. People There's people wealth, relational wealth that is important. Getting your wealth game up, and the people that you connected with and the people that you talk to will help you build your net worth. Your net worth affects your net worth. Yes, people are resources. They can help add to you and you can add to them. It's a two-way thing. Those are two beautiful ways of looking at that. So we talked about those 5 components of emotional intelligence and how they help you cope with stress. So, what's a way that we can build this? Because I talked about how you can build. Well, number one, you practice those things. You practice, you look at, you go through it, just like I listed out those 5 things and talked about what does this look like in a as a coping mechanism with stress and adversity. You go through and say, you know what, I've had these situations in the past, and I really could have used, or had to my advantage a better way of connecting to people, aka the social skills. Or if I was more self-aware, I will start to pick up my cues about what I need when I'm tired, when I need to set boundaries so I can keep time to myself. Because that's another important thing, even with your social skills, is being able to communicate your boundaries so you'll have enough downtime so you can rest and recharge the way you need to. But doing a self-assessment of those 5 components and practicing in those areas of things that you need to do. Another thing is journaling. And I think journaling crosses just merges everything together. You can practice every single thing. You can do different practices in your journal, of course, because you can write from your point of view with a thing. To practice empathy, you can write from somebody else's point of view with the thing and become curious about what it might be like for them to experience those things and how that affects people around you. All of those things can take place in your journal. If you're not big on journaling, and journaling does not have to be like this 20-minute thing, journaling can be you listing 3 things that you're grateful for. That is a form of journaling. Practicing gratitude on a daily basis will help you start to manage your emotions and recognize your emotions as well. Because some days you may honestly not know what to be grateful for, and you don't want to say anything little, or I shouldn't say little, you don't want to say anything that is not meaningful to you, because it may not be meaningful to you at the moment. That I'm grateful that I have hands, even though some experts say do that, because when you'll start a positive thought train in your mind just by saying, I'm grateful for my hands. I'm grateful that I can see. I'm grateful that I can talk. I'm grateful that I can breathe. Man, wow, breathing in and out feels pretty nice. Man, I'm grateful I could do that for myself today. I'm curious about what other great things I can be grateful for and do. So you start things like that, and it starts a positive thought train in your journal or in your reflection moments, because you may not be big on writing. You may just like to reflect and openly, have conversations about those things as you're talking to other people as well. So those are some of the main things that we can do to practice and challenge our abilities to express our EQ and become more resilient in things. The goal is to stand. The goal is to, even if that means coming back from a place that you never thought you'd be in, the goal is to continue to stand, to continue to go forward with things, and to have solid foundations. Solid foundations include having tools in your toolkit to help you cope when life gets to be kind of tough, when there are challenges that come up and you still have to maneuver and navigate through those things. The thing you need to know the most is that can you can navigate through those things. You can be a safe space for yourself. You can provide yourself with the space that you need to get what you need. You can do those things. So I hope this toolkit has been helpful. It's a beginner phase. Now, if you're also looking for other healthy coping mechanisms and you want to challenge yourself with that, I challenge you to get your self-care game up. So self-care, I have a journal in my Pensight store. Oh wow, thank y'all so much. I'm coming on now because we've been here a while. I have a self-care transformation guide in my Pensight store that is absolutely free. You can download that and check it out. I also talk about things about burnout in there, why women go through burnout, high achievers, what that looks like, where you may be in that phase, and how to start coming out of it and practicing a more structured self-care way to start adding positive coping mechanisms to your toolbox as well. And that's in that Pensight store listed in the description box below, or on, if you're on one of my other channels, it's on that Pensight link. This has been a wonderful evening of chatting. Thank you all so much for coming into the room. I appreciate you all. And I will see you in the next one. Have a good night.